Welcome, Wargamers, to Ray Rivers Gaming. My name is Ray, and I'm going to be doing a first impressions of a new war game that's out. It's called WarPlan Pacific. It's made by Kraken Studios in association with Matrix and Slitherine Games. This is their second product. Their first game was called just WarPlan. It was the European theater during World War II. And this is their second game, Wargame Pacific, which is going to take place, of course, in the Pacific during World War II. These are classic board game type war games. And what I'm going to be doing is, and it will be fairly lengthy, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a look and see what this thing looks like and what are some of the characteristics and features and some of the stuff, so that you can get a good idea about what you're getting into if you're on the fence about buying the game, or if you've never heard of the game. This is just to say this is what it looks like right from the start, and believe me, it's pretty impressive. Okay, so WarPlan, by the way, is available on Steam. WarPlan Pacific you have to buy from Matrix Games. I'll leave a link in the description. And so let's just get right into it. Okay, the game is, the designer is Alvaro Sosa. Hopefully I got that right. We're going to start here and just go right through these things and see what we see. Like I say, I just bought this game, so all right. So we have the credits here. Here's Alvaro. He's the designer of the game, and we've got different things here for art and sounds and all this forth, so forth and so forth. The only comment that I'll make on this is concerning the beta testers. Okay, they thank the beta testers for their time and help and all this. Okay, this isn't the first time that I've seen a game do something like this, and personally, because I have done beta testing for various projects, okay, and I understand that if you're a committed beta tester, you spend a lot of time, okay, helping to make that designer's vision of the game come to life. So, in my opinion, the beta testers really need to be listed. At least those dedicated beta testers who really put in a lot of time. Okay, that's the only thing I'm really going to say that's of any negative. I get, this I'm seeing this more and more. I don't like it. People who invest a lot of time testing games need to be recognized. Okay, so let's get out of there. All right, graphics. So you have all these screen settings, and my computer would support the highest. I think it will support the highest up here, but for some reason, I think it may have to do with OBS, which is what I am recording this video with. I'm using a screen setting. As you can see, it's kind of weird. Okay, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, plenty of settings, so it will it should be able to run on just about any machine, I would think. Let's keep moving. Options, got lots of options here. So for the first thing, music, I'm not going to comment on the music. I have to turn the music off because with YouTube you can get into problems with music copyright, so I usually turn the music off. And here you see different ways that you can represent the counters. You just simply change it. Okay, naval units, air units, land units, whatever you want to do. Okay, I just leave them there. And then there's a whole bunch of others over here that you can turn on and off, and And they have, for example, they have two counter sets. This is the NATO counter set, and this is the Silhouette counter set. I'm going to leave it on NATO. I have an editor, and you just select the scenario you want, and then you can edit that scenario. Okay. Well, I haven't even played the game, so I'm not even going to mess with the editor. But it's there if you want to play with the scenarios and change them up a little bit or what have you. Okay, so that's nice. Multiplayer, you play by PBM. It's where you log in to get into the system. And then, of course, you have loading a save game or a new game. I have no save game, so because I haven't played it. So we're going to go to a new game. All right, and what you see on this screen is we have, first of all, let's go here, the campaigns. So the campaigns, you have the Sino-Japanese War from 1937 to 1939. You have the Okinawa campaign. Okay. You have the Pacific 1941 campaign. This is the whole war, basically, once the Americans join into the war. And then from 1942, start. And then it's Solomon's fight. I will be playing the Pacific 1941. And so over here, you select your side. You can be the Axis. You can be the Allies, and you can do it by hot seat. Okay, playing solitary, or with another person who's in the same place as you. Here, over here, we have a way to change the difficulty level of the game, and they concern experience and effectiveness. So these are both important factors in this game, and you just click on it, and it gives you the AI bonuses, right? So there's a slight bonus of 10, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. 50%, 55%. Samurai unstoppable units are plus 60%. 60% experience bonus. That is a lot. Same thing we have applies to the effectiveness. There we go. That's about my level, but we'll leave that for right now. So then down here you have computer plan, and it can be either historical or random. Choose whatever you want. All right, so we're going to be doing hot seat. I think that's the best way to start off the to show the game, because that's what we're doing. This is a first impressions kind of game, first impression kind of video. So for folks to just to see, what does this thing look like? What am I buying? Okay. All right. And this is what you see when you first start it up. Now I'm not an expert, so I may make mistakes here. Okay. I'm going to do my best. I've got about 100 hours playing WarPlan. And like I say, I haven't even played a minute with WarPlan Pacific. But it starts off with a turn report here. And this gives you all the stuff that's involved in the scenario. And it's pretty important. If you're going to play the game, you need to read through all of this stuff, so that you understand what the heck is going on. You don't trip something off accidentally or whatever. Give some important, for example, let's see, Russia. Okay, so Russia will join the Allies August 9th, 1945. Okay. But if you don't if the Axis garrison within 10 hexes of Harbin falls under 160 strength, it increases the USSR entry stats. So things like this you need to know. Okay. So it's important to understand how the scenario is created. And here we see that the game ends in 1945. All right. So let's move that back over there. Now, the designer of the game has stated that this is not a historic simulation. Okay, so it's not trying to exactly simulate the war in the Pacific. He's basically put you into that scenario and then allows you to try out different strategies and whatever and actually playing out the war. For the Japanese, the whole point of the war is to do better than the actual Japanese did by the end date. Okay, for the Americans, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to, take out Japan. But the whole thing is to do better than what the side that you're playing did in the actual war. Okay, so here we have Japan, and so now let's zoom out here, shall we? Let's zoom out here. Zooming. Okay, so look at that map. Okay, so we were looking at Japan. Look at that map. Look how big that map is. I mean, over here you have Canada, America, okay, New Zealand, Australia, Indonesia, India, China, Mongolia, Russia, Korea, and Japan. I mean, this Aleutians. I mean, this is a huge map. So this is obviously a strategy game. Okay, it is a strategy game, so you need to know that. All right. Let's take a look at Hawaiian Islands. All right, so it is December 7th, 1941, the day that will live in infamy. And as you can see, we have various types of units. And we are the Japanese, so we know what we are. And what we're looking at is we're looking at forces here. And these things indicate that there's a unit there, but we have no idea what it is. All right. This is Pearl Harbor, and it has 3 units. And on ports, you can put 3 units, but they have to be of the 3 different types. So you have an Army unit, a naval unit, and an air unit. Okay. And the Japanese, we can strike them if we want. So we select this. This is our carrier task force. And as you can see, it has six CVs, some battle cruisers and some cruisers, okay, attached to it. And you can see this. See how this area here is in pinkish? That says I can strike there. So if I put my cursor over it, it will say carrier strike. So let's go ahead and see what kind of damage we can get with a carrier strike, okay? So we attack. All right. So we've just done one attack. Let's take a look. Let's see. Here we go to reports. Okay, now we go to combat log. Okay, so here's the combat log. This is a carrier strike. Shows that the attacking carriers, they lost one of their aircraft. Here's all the guys he attacked. And this is the damage that was done in that attack. Okay, so the ships are normally at 4. And so that would say that the Arizona, for example, has lost 2 of its 4 points. Okay, and the West Virginia has been bottomed. All right. Now, also take a look here at these dots. Okay, and these dots are operating points, what they call operating points. Okay, and the ships and aircraft will have 2 operating points. So you can do various things with that. Okay, you can attack twice, you can move and attack, or you can attack and move. All right. So I have just attacked Pearl Harbor, and I have 1 more operating point left. All right. Now, if I use that operating point to attack Pearl Harbor, then I will have no operating points, and this guy will have to stay there until the end of the turn, which means that then it will switch over to the American side, and he's going to have to stay right there. So right from the bat, you have a decision to make. Do I strike Pearl Harbor twice, or do I get the heck out of town? Lots of decisions you have to make. Let's go over here and look at land battle. Okay, so you can see these are my units, and the yellow is the territory that I own or have conquered. Okay, all the way up to Russia in this case. And let's come down here in the fight against China. All right, because this is a good example here. Okay, so this is an army. Okay, 4 X's. All you hardened war gamers know that. It's at 30 and 30. He's showing a defend value, okay, of 11, and he has 5 operations. Okay, which are very 5 operation points. Okay, so he can do 5. He can do 5 things. A move is 1. You see there? That's 1 operation point. But in this case, we want to attack. I want to attack this guy. All right. So let's forget about him for the moment, because we also have aircraft, and we want them to support our attack, and they can support this attack. Okay. So up here, this is a close support unit, which means it's a bomber. Okay. And you can see that it's actually a high-level bomber. And if you click here, you can see the details, and you can see its range is 10. All right. Let's click on him again. Okay, and notice you have different targets. So you can attack ships. You click on there. You can attack ground targets, and now you see them highlighted. You see all the targets available within his range that you can attack. You can attack airfields. Notice over here there's an airfield. So you can attack the airfield. Or you can do strategic bombing. Okay? And obviously there's something there that is of strategic importance. So let's just take off the units for a second. And there we go. This city is contributing 10 to their production points. And if you bomb them, you can actually take away production points from the enemy. All right, so what we want to do is we want this guy to participate in this battle. So we look over here, and you have 2 modes for these aircraft. Okay, one is mission only, which means I click him, and then I right click on this guy to do an airstrike. It's a manual attack. Okay, I can also click on there, and it changes to full support. And in full support, he will support whoever he will support the infantry unit that is attacking. So if I want to attack him, when I attack, he will launch a bombing raid. Okay, and this guy, because he's already in full support, he will provide fighter coverage. You notice we have an airfield down here. All right, so we're all set up. He's in full support. A lot of times what people will do is they will take and first hit the target. Okay. First hit a target. Let's see, we need to put him like that. Okay. So that he's attacking the land targets. So we're going to attack this guy. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll take and they'll do one operation point just to hit this guy first to lower his efficiency rating. And you can see over here, this is your effectiveness, and this is your experience. So effectiveness will take a shot if I bomb this guy first. So let's do that. All right, so I'm going to bomb him. Okay. And now you notice he has only one operational point left. My fighter has only one operation point left because he supported the strike. And now I'm going to take this bomber and I'm going to put him in full support. And we're going to try to beat this guy up here. So you see right away, if you look at the black, you look at the black area there, you see there's an icon on the left, which is trees. So that's going to affect the combat. And on the right side, you have shovels, which means the guy's dug in. All right. But we have a 3-to-1 chance of destroying this guy. However, if I include this guy over here, okay, we're now at 4-to-1. So let's see what that happens when I attack with 4-to-1 odds. Okay, and he retreated. All right, and that is how land combat is done. He still has operation points. You can see it'll take 2 if I move him there. Okay. This guy can get over here, but he'll use all his operation points to get there. 5. That's basically how the infantry guys work. You have a command unit here, and you can see the little flags. These guys are within his sphere of control, and he has different characteristics which he will apply to these guys. All right. Tenacity, that means how much this guy is willing to fight to the death. You can also change him if you have points, okay? And as the game progresses, you get more points, you get more chance to change the generals. But at the moment, I don't have many points. And you can see that the ones I have are probably not very good, the ones that are available, so we won't change him. But, you can never tell. He actually could this general can get killed, and then you're going to have to change him. But it's a feature of the game you all should know about. Okay. So let's look at something here that's quite important. This game is very supply oriented. All right. And you have these railroad lines. And a lot of times you're attacking and defending and so forth is going to depend on where these supply lines go. And you can see the importance of the supply lines. Let's go to supply here. And it tells you what level of supply it will give to the units where they are. Okay, so 9 being the highest on the railroads. We go up a little bit higher here. Look here. Okay, on the border with Mongolia, we got a really poor supply. So, do we want to attack Mongolia? Probably not. All right. But so those railroads are very important, huh? And they're going to dictate how you move your troops, because you're going to want to basically have a supply line behind you. So let's turn off the supply now. Also, as you can see on the map right away, is you've got all kinds of icons which represent different kinds of things. In this case, let's bring it up here. This represents iron ore. You see that on this. You'll see it on the second line here, iron ore. Okay. And this all plays into how much you can construct, how much you can maintain. So remember, it's now December 7th, 1941. The Japanese are at war with China. The Americans have stopped trading oil with the Japanese. So the Japanese Empire has decided that it has to go and get oil elsewhere. And we look here and look at all that oil. Same thing over here. Lots of oil. It's defended. There's a fleet there. Okay. And sitting in the way is the Philippines, which is American owned, so we're going to have to take them out, obviously. And you can see also with this, if you go to trade convoys. Now this is how supply is moved from your center of Tokyo. Tokyo decides how the supply is apportioned, and these are merchant marine lanes of movement. Okay, and we can, if you go over here, it's convoys. All right, and we can see that these lines here correspond to these guys over here. And what we've got going here by this icon here is we see that we have an active convoy in the zone. So active convoy in the South China Sea and an active convoy in the East China Sea. All right. Well, these guys over here look like they're the furthest away, so probably we want to make sure that supply goes to them. So again, let's go back over here. South China Sea. Okay, we have 10 escorts. And usually if you want it to be effective, you need to put at least 10 escorts in any active convoy to protect against submarines. Okay. So if I really want to protect all of my submarine lane, my supply lines, I will need another 10 escorts to put into the South China Sea. I can also initiate trade. In this case, I only have one ally, Thailand. I can make a trade route with them. And as you can see, I'm already sending them 2 in production. Okay, nothing in oil, but I'm sending them 2 in production. And this tells you the max that you can send. All right, so if I create a trade route, this will be on top of this guy. Okay, and on top of what he's already getting. So like I say, there's a lot to this game, huh? Okay, so let's get rid of that. All right. What other things here? This, of course, turns hexes on and off. This turns the color of the map off to show who owns what. Let's turn that back on. All right. And now let's go over here. These are important ones over here. Okay, so this is, call it build, it's a production. And you see Japan. And they have, okay, different characteristics. Here's their production. Here's their oil level. Okay, they're only getting 3 oil per move. Okay, they have 153 stockpiled, but they're only getting 3 oil per move. So very quickly, these guys can run out of oil. Eh? So oil is a pretty important thing here. Here's their manpower, which they are at 99% available, and this is their logistics. Okay, so they already have a lot of units on the out fighting, so they've used a lot of the logistics. But when you look down here, okay, and so let's continue over here. Okay, so here are the 4 different categories of things that you can buy for your empire: Army, Navy, Air Force, and support. Each has a cost, and down here tells you what's going on. Okay, so for example, this headquarters costs 100 in production, and since we have 192, we can buy that. It also uses 10 logistics, so that number will come down by 10, and 10 manpower, and that number will come down by 10 if we buy this unit. Okay, tells you if you need shipyards. Of course, this is a ground unit, you don't need shipyards. Build days, how long it takes for that unit to be built, and at what experience level it will appear. And as you go through the things, bigger stuff and all, the production values will change. They have Marines, which could be pretty valuable, seeing as how this is going to be conducted in a naval theater. They have paratroopers and armor corps, and you can see that they're very big. Cost a lot. Okay. Then you go to the Navy, and you have all this stuff that you can buy, and you can also, it gives you at what level that you want to buy them at. All right, so at this submarine is at a 39 technology level. We'll cover technology next. And notice it's 80. If I wanted to buy a submarine group that had 1942 tech, what we see is immediately the price will go up. Okay? Price goes up. Okay, and down here we have torpedo divisions, torpedo boat divisions, which could come in handy. Again, remember, we're going to be fighting in a lot of islands and stuff like that. So up here we have reinforcements and an upgrade. So all those units out there, we just fought a battle and we had people lost. We lost one flight on our aircraft carriers in our attack on Pearl Harbor. So this is where you set how much reinforcements that you want to go out to your troops, which comes right out of your production. Okay. Soon this number of upkeep will start climbing, and to maintain your army, you're going to have this number at least equal to upkeep. Right now it's at 0. All right, and if I want to upgrade, then I'm going to have to put this level pretty high, so that certain units will upgrade themselves to the next year. For example, if I have 41 warships and I want them to go to 42, I can do that, but I need to have a lot of, this number has got to be pretty high to make sure that those upgrades happen. All right. Over here tells you air transport supply trucks, which are very important. Transports, how many transports you have and how many are in use. Landing transports move ground and air units from one place to another. Okay. Landing ships are used in assaults, amphibious assaults, so you need landing ships. Supply oilers give you the ability to refuel a task force at sea. Escorts, we've already talked about. They watch over your merchant marine to make sure your merchant marine has a defense against submarines. Okay, so again, now moving to Air Force, and here's you have fighters and different type of fighters. Ground attack, these are essentially dive bombers. Tactical, and these are level bombers. And when you buy them, they will come with this name, okay? Unless you want to customize the name. And strategic, and this is long-range bombers, so you can see the range, okay? Each one, as you look at them, they will have their characteristics placed over here. Support is very important in this game. Okay, you're going to need transports. You're going to need landing ships. Probably going to need supply oilers. Supply trucks, you use supply trucks to increase the efficiency of units, of all the units. You can except for I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's only for air and ground units. So you can buy a bunch of supply trucks, and when they're available, and you click on this guy, they'll have a truck icon, and you can click on that, and that will increase their efficiency, which is a nice way to get these guys ready to, for example, to attack them and have a much better chance of success. And you have the merchant marine and escorts. These things actually are quite important. Okay. So we've gone through convoys, and now let's take a look at what they call advancements, which would be tech tree. Okay, so a lot of stuff here. Okay, these first two are infantry. These two are armor. Then you have these here, which are aircraft. Here are ships and submarines. And you have so many points that you can spend to investigate each type of technology, which will raise it up to the next year and their capabilities. Now, the way this game works, see that the assault guys are at 1942. So that means they have, where you see the ones, that means for that category they have 1. Okay, now if we reach 1943, okay, firearms will go up to 2, but guns will remain at 1. Okay, so these two don't change. This one goes up 1. This goes up 1. This now anti-air. You get an increase in anti-air. Defense stays the same. Okay, that's how that works. Carrier operations. Let's take a look at carrier operations. So they have air combat 1. Okay, but in 1943 they'll be able to go to air combat 2. Tactical remain is the same. You get an increase in your surface and anti-sub characteristics for attacking them, and also 1 in range. Alright, let's take a look at strategic bombing. And look at the increase in range these guys get. Okay, but that's a long time to start getting paid off for strategic bombing. Japan is probably not interested in doing that. Also, you have limits, okay, so it doesn't go too crazy. So let's say, for example, let's take away these 5 points from naval air training. We want to pump up the assault as high as possible so that they get to the next level, to the 43 level as quickly as possible. So we pump all these in there. And you see there, research at maximum in this field. So the most I can put is 7. So I'm going to have to put this in some other place. And as the game plays, you'll get additional points as the time goes by. So you're going to have to make a strategy. And then, using that strategy, you're going to put your technologies, just like any other strategy game, into what you think are most important. Here's the war panel. Okay, it tells you who's at war with. You're at war with. We're at war with pretty much everybody, except for the Soviet Union and Mongolia, and we probably want to leave it that way. And you take a look over here at Thailand. They're allies, so they're at the same kind of status there. Here tells you how many points you need for a major victory and so forth. Over here is the victory points that you have, and these guys are at 0, okay? Okay, so that means that for a major victory, I'm going to have to get a lot more victory points. All right, we'll show you victory point locations. This are comment points. Okay, communications, intelligence, and I don't know how they work because this is a new feature. Okay, from WarPlan. WarPlan didn't have this, but I suspect that in certain places you're going to be able to build a comment post, if you will, and they will be able to listen in on your enemy's radio communications and try to decipher what they're saying and give you intelligence on what they are doing. All right, so now let's move over here to reports. Like I say, this initial report disappears, and in the next moves, it'll be telling you what actually went on during the last turn. If you want to go and read the scenario notes again while you're in the game, you go over here, and this will tell you all that stuff. Okay. So forces. There's all the forces that are currently on the board, and as you can see, Japan is pretty powerful at this point. Okay. They're fighting China, UK, and the US. Still have not really got thrown into the war because we're just now entering into the war. All right. Casualties. Okay, so here we see that we've suffered 11 points in naval damage. The Chinese have suffered 2 points in land damage and 4 points in air damage. And the Japanese have suffered 2 in land and 2 in air. So that was that attack that we made there with the air helping us. Okay. Units. This is good for finding units. This is all the units you have, and it tells you the strength that they have, their effectiveness and experience. These are really important, and it gives you their advancement level. Okay, by clicking on here, you will go to that unit. Let's just take a quick look through what we got going here. Since this is a naval arena, let's look for aircraft carriers. See how the Japanese start off this war. Okay, and so here we have one carrier here, another 2 carrier groups here. You can see this guy is embarked, so he's available to be moved to another place to either reinforce or to assault amphibiously. We have quite a few embarked, actually. And then here is the 6 carriers that attack Pearl Harbor. So in total, they have 9 carriers. 9 carriers on the board. Okay? They do the same thing with headquarters. See who's there, their characteristics. So if you want to change a guy, you can take a look here and say, who's my weakest guy, or whatever. Just an overview. Here's sunken ships. No ships have been sunk. And as I said, the game notes explains the scenario once the game gets in motion. All right. Combat log. We've already seen that. Okay, there is the carrier strike. 1 loss here due to aircraft guns. This was from 1 loss of air groups, and here you see the damage to the American ships and our 2 ground battles. All right, now we get to the important part. This is the deploy. Okay, and let's come back over here real quick. And okay, so remember, this is the production, and we can buy stuff here, right? And it tells us how long it's going to be, and what the cost is, and what their experience looks like. So let's just buy this headquarters group just to see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to buy those guys, and you notice this one dropped, but the logistics also drop, and so did manpower. All right, now let's go to this is the production queue. Okay, and right built into the scenario, all of these units, except for the headquarters that we just bought, are already built into the scenario. So when you look at it, we've got a couple air divisions are coming on. And then we've got some torpedo boats here, a battleship group here, and then all the rest are carrier groups. So you're not going to have to buy any carrier groups. All these carrier groups are coming on. I mean, it depends on your strategy. If you want to spend the points on carriers, they're very expensive. 10 carrier groups coming at different times, all the way up to the 8th of October. 1944. These guys have nothing. Okay, so that tells you when they're going to arrive, and when they do arrive, you'll get a little deploy button down here, and this guy's ready to deploy, and you hit deploy, and there's little areas that'll highlight and say you can deploy me in this area here. And you choose wherever you want to put them. All right. So that pretty much covers everything here. Okay. Just at a glance. All right. All right. You can see the strategic situation. Japan is all over the place. All right. America stands in their way. China and India over here stand in their way. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and do the turn so that we can, it's hot seat, so that we can see what it looks like from the American point of view. All right. So then it goes through these different stages. Not much because we didn't do much. Okay. And since this is the first move of the Americans, we get the same turn report just like we did with the Japanese. Sorry. Sometimes we get these little things over here and they warn us about stuff, all right? So let me get low here. Let's get down here. And I'm going to go. It says port supply interdiction. And it jumps over here and it says this port supply. These guys are being interdicted. And over here we have partisan activity. No, that's in Vietnam, okay, and Indochina. And these guys will show up, partisans will show up in areas that have been conquered, okay, and they will destroy your supply routes. So you have to be very careful for them. So anyway, there we go. That's the first. Now we're ready to do our move. Let's return to Pearl Harbor real quick. Okay, and let's see what we actually have here. So we have an infantry division under strength. Here is our fleet. Notice West Virginia is bottomed. Okay. We have only 17 oil, huh? That's not a lot of oil. Here's the rest of our fleet. And you can see damage done to the other warships. So a lot of damage done, but only one got bottomed, okay? So we should be able to eventually get her back into fighting condition. All right. And you have the different islands that we're holding. Okay, Midway, Wake Island. We have the Philippines with not a lot of forces. Okay? Not a lot of forces, not compared to Japan. Here is the major theater of the war at the moment. Okay, for us. Okay, we do not want the Chinese to come rampaging through here and take these areas. Okay, remember when I talked about victory points? Let's toggle victory points. And as you can see, every time they take one of these places here, they gain more victory points. So we do not want them to be taking this area here. And we want to hold this area. All right. Let's untoggle that. And now let's take a look real quick at their capability. And look at all this stuff. So many nations, you know. Wow. Okay, well, the UK is pretty good, huh? They're not bad. They got oil and have a lot of logistics available. America, big time production. Lots of logistics. Not so much oil, really. Here's the Soviet Union. China. Which is really important for us. We have to, China has we gotta fight this battle over here. Okay. I have Australia. Doesn't have a lot. Canada. Once again, not a lot. Very little manpower increases. They've got 5 oil. Communist China, no oil. So no oil, you're not going to be building aircraft. And you're not going to be building armor because they require oil. And if you don't have oil, then they won't move and they won't fly. Dutch West Indies. Okay, well, not bad. They got 49 oil. India. India looks like a really important place, and it appears to have a lot of capability. Okay, production looks good. Lots of logistics. We can build a lot of stuff out there. New Zealand, again, very low. And the Philippines, pretty low also. Philippines almost certainly to be lost. So let's take a look at trade. So convoys. All right, so here we go. And we're looking at all these convoys. And once again, we're looking at, we see all of these routes, these active convoys, okay? And they are all available to be interdicted by submarines. We need 10 escorts to defend these convoys, and we only have 12 escorts. It means we need to get some escorts, okay? And this gives you a rough overview. You can see they've got their China, Soviet Union. Soviet Union has a lot of oil, but we don't. You can see the trade routes here. Okay. We can create trade routes from these guys. For example, we can send these over to the Indians, to India, and give them a bunch of stuff here. See, they're already getting a bunch of stuff here from India, from these trade routes here. But we could send them more. All right. Not a great position to start in. Okay, so Japan, they're in full war footing, and we are not. And they look like a big gorilla here, all right, in comparison to what we have to try to slow them down. Well, let's look at our production queue. And you can see here's the United Kingdom. And these guys are going to be getting a lot of CVs, Indian battleships. But they're all going to be coming in 1944, so not going to help us a lot here. So we're getting some stuff in 42, and then until 1944, the Brits aren't going to be supplying any ships to us. Let's take a look at the Americans, and here we see that we're going to get some ships in 1941, December 23rd, including 2 CV groups. Okay. And then another one in March. That's 3. June 42. Essex 42. So we're going to end up with 5 carriers by the end of 1942. By the end of 1942, that's a long time. And then we'll see things start ramping up. As in 1943, we'll start getting a lot more ships, etc. Here's China. Soviet Union, rather. China, they don't have nothing. And the rest of these guys, let me see if anybody's got anything to deploy. Okay, India are going to be getting a couple of infantry divisions. India, we're going to need to get a lot of stuff from. We want India to be a big player on this. India has got to be a big player on this the United Kingdom has got to be a big player on this from a land combat perspective. And the Japanese Navy is going to pretty much reign supreme. Let's take a look at forces. Units. There we go. And when we look at what we got here, we have a light carrier here, Hermes. And when it comes to aircraft carriers, that is it. So the Japanese are going to have a lot of strength here from the naval point of view for quite a long time. And there you go. There is a help menu here. Explains some things, how to do some things. If you don't know how to do it, land. Let's get this thing out of the way. Different things that you can do, what different things mean. Air. Okay. Naval. So they basically have some tips. Diplomacy. Minors and hotkeys. Okay. So there you go. It's definitely strategic in nature. You're entering into a really difficult position if you're the Americans, or the Allies rather, because there's a lot of allies here, aren't there? And the Japanese seem to be pretty tough. So, also, of course, there's a jump map over here. I'll take you, you just click over there, and you'll go wherever you click, okay? So there you are. That is a first look at WarPlan Pacific to give you an idea of what you're facing in this game. Now, again, remember that the game is not a historic sim. It's not going to be you play exactly like the Americans or you play exactly like the Japanese. It's a little bit more loose. So allows a little bit more flexibility. It's a strategic game, okay? And I think that will bring this video to an end. If you haven't heard about it, hopefully maybe you say, hey, that looks interesting. Or if you're on the fence and you're really not sure, should I buy this or not? What is the scope? What are the things that I'm looking at? Hopefully this presentation will have given you an idea of what WarPlan Pacific is like. And seeing as how there are not a lot of strategic Pacific World War II games out there, if you like that time period, it's probably one to consider. So I'm looking forward to actually playing the game. Looks like it's going to take a while to learn how to manage all of this. Once again, you're going to have to come up with a strategic plan and then try to implement that plan and see how it goes. So hope you enjoyed the video. I do these videos just for fun. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I do this. For example, a lot of YouTubers will have a script. They'll do the video first, and then they'll overlay the audio. I don't do that. I just talking off the top of my head, and sometimes saying a lot of stupidities because I'm a little bit older. I don't have, flashy introductions and no little icons, that will get right in the way of my jump map, So yeah, I'm not interested in monetizing whatsoever. I just do it for fun. If you enjoyed the video, that's all that counts. And on all my videos, if you want to make comments, please feel free. Normally I will respond to all comments. And thank you for watching. And hopefully I'll be putting out some more of videos on this game as I get into it. But for right now, I think that's a pretty good start. Hope you enjoyed it. And until the next time we meet, y'all take care now.